In this episode of Financial Literacy for Beginners, we're going to talk about how to stop money from controlling your life. Cue the intro. How do I stop money from controlling my life? I know there's always this notion of we have to get more money, we have to do more things to get money, we have to create these scenarios where, money becomes the object of our existence sometimes. And we want to get off that wheel, and we want to know, how do we stop doing that? How do we stop giving money so much control in our lives? I think one of the things that we have to understand is that a lot of times our feelings are what's driving us to make certain decisions and interact with, in certain ways with certain people about certain things that are causing us to put money in the driver's seat. So one of the first things you can actually do to get money out of the driver's seat in your life is to have a plan. You have to have a plan for, your finances, have a plan for your financial freedom and how you're going to get there, how are you going to attain the level of financial freedom that you want to attain in your life. That's really the first step. That plan can look like anything. It can look as simple as, budgeting your budget and, putting your budget in front of you every month or every week or however often you need to do that, having a really clear plan of where your money is going. Because a lot of times if you have a clear plan of where your money is going, it alleviates the stress of, having to always think about, well, maybe I don't have enough to cover this, or maybe I don't have enough to do this, that, and the third. And, that's one of the things that I think, kind of gets us tripped up. A lot of times it's not the actual thing that's happening, but it's our thought of what could possibly happen in terms of our finances that really has us in turmoil. Even if you are in a place of having enough, having enough money and enough resources to do what they need to do, sometimes our minds are so far into the loop of, oh man, what if this and what if that, it doesn't allow us to be calm or calm ourselves down in terms of our finances. And we end up having anxiety and depression and all these things that revolve around our thoughts and not really what's actually happening. So having a plan about what you're going to do with your money really does go a long way to keeping you out of that cycle of thought, keeping you out of that thought process and putting you in a place where you can make the right decisions about, your money as things come, because things are going to come always. There's always going to be a situation where something is going to present itself that is going to try to knock you off balance in terms of your finances. But if you have a solid plan and you're able to put those things in perspective quickly based on your plan and what you ultimately want to do, you can, get back in the right state when it comes to that. And along with your plan, or inside of your plan, it's really important that you start to schedule your life in a way that allows you to do the things that don't require money. A lot of times we get so fixated on, this is going to cost money. What if I want to do this? This is going to cost money. And we don't really start to build into our lives the things that really don't cost money. Putting a real schedule in place for the things that you have to do is very important, because it gives you a roadmap or something to follow so that you are in control of what's happening and your finances are not in control. Automation is a very big thing that really helps with that. Like if you have specific bills or anything that that you have to pay for every month, automate those things. If you have a steady paycheck, a steady income, automate those things. And I know a lot of times some people want to have their money in hand and pay those bills because it makes them, feel like they have control of their money. But trust me, the more of those things you can automate, it really does alleviate that stress, and it takes, the money out of control of your emotions in those ways, because sometimes people make decisions based on what they have in hand. And, it sometimes is to their detriment, because, if you have those automations in place, you won't count that as money in hand. Those things will already be taken care of, and you won't, play with those things like some people often do and start to, rob Peter to pay Paul, which is the saying, and they start to make decisions based on what they have in their hand. And oftentimes, more often than not, those decisions are bad decisions, because they lead to things not being taken care of that are fixed. fixed that should be taken care of. So if you are in that situation, definitely, making a schedule, making a fixed schedule for what you're doing, and, adding automation to that schedule so that you can have peace of mind is very important. Peace of mind is very, very important when in terms of being able to take control of your life. You want to have peace of mind and be able to think clearly about the things that you're doing. And a huge part of that is, getting money out of the driver's seat, not allowing money and your bills and all those things to be the main thing that you're thinking about all the time. Which leads me to my next thing is making sure that you build into your schedule time to have fun, time to do the things that you want to do, because it's important for us to allow ourselves that fun and allow ourselves those activities of fun, because that's a huge part of our growth as a person. That's a huge part of our, resilience as a person. Nothing is worse than doing the same things over and over and over again, even if you feel like you are protecting yourself from what could happen, and doing those things over and over again and not really allowing yourself to release and, get out of that crisis mode is really what it is. You have to get out of crisis mode to really take control of your life. Don't live your life in crisis mode, and money will do that. Constantly thinking about your finances and things like that, it'll put you in crisis mode where you're not in control. The money's in control. So get the money out of the driver's seat by getting out of crisis mode and giving yourself that time of levity. It could be as simple as, hey, you know what? Every day at 8 o'clock, I'm going to take an hour to just, have a good time and smile and laugh and be in the right frame of mind and be in good spirits. If you do that, you will start to see that money's not in control. You're in control of how you feel. Yes, even if things happen, even if you have, catastrophic things happen in your life, which you will, we all do. You still want to be in control, of those things, and not, your finances or anything else. And I know one of the things we've talked about before that goes a long way with that is having an emergency fund. That goes a long way to being able to take money out of the driver's seat. We're going to have emergencies. We're going to have, situations where things are not going to go our way. Things are going to go wrong. And, having an emergency fund, and we talked about this in another video, is one of the things that really will help with that. So if you haven't done that already, really do check that out and see how you can kind of get that started. Now, the last thing that I want to mention is having an exit strategy for your financial situation. An exit strategy, and that can mean, your retirement or whatever it is. Having an exit strategy early as possible is very important. And a lot of people don't think about this until they start getting older or start getting into the space where they don't want to necessarily work anymore. It's important that you think about this early. What is your exit strategy? What are the things that you are going to do to move into the space where money's not in control anymore? You have enough money to, take care of your lifestyle. You have enough money to invest. You have enough money to grow. What are you going to do to get to that point? What is your exit strategy to move you out of the current state that you're in, which may be a working state or a working environment, into that next phase of what you're doing? Really have a plan for that, because it really will help you get money out of the driver's seat so that you can take control of your life. I hope this has been extremely helpful for someone. And until we talk again, I wish you health, wealth, and freedom.